From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
the energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark. Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, will FSU be in the market for a new OC? Who's staying? Who's leaving? Wins didn't matter in 2023. Now losses don't matter in 2025. And we're generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Works faster and longer. Energy with benefits. Use the promo code warchantbogo to buy one and get one free over at VitaminEnergy.com. 260 milligrams of all-natural caffeine in this one little bottle. No sugar. Still tastes great somehow. And has all those body-nourishing vitamins to get your mood right, get your focus right, and plenty of other goals you might have for yourself. Not only in the new year, but maybe tomorrow. Let's all get 1% better. Let's shake it and take it. VitaminEnergy.com. WarchantBogo. Again, your promo code. WarChant.com. No promo code needed. Just come sign up. $1 for a week. Try it. You're going to like it. You're going to get hooked. Much like the way that I did back in 2003. Golly, that was a long time ago. And 1985, whenever Corey jumped onto the internet, whether he was hanging out with Al Gore
Yep.
and discovered Gene's website here.
I was like, I think this Deion Sanders kid can play, guys.
I like his hips.
I think that's a good commitment for the Noles.
Yeah, flips the hips. All right, we got the mailbag today, so lots to get to, Corey. But I guess we did speak to Mike for over 30 minutes on Monday.
Yeah.
And let me be selfish. Let me just ask first off, do you think the question I asked him about whether or not there have been conversations or if he intended to contribute to the Vision of Excellence Fund, do you think he understood what I was saying, or do you think he knew what I was saying and was like, nope, I'm not doing that? Because for those who don't know, the Vision of Excellence, which I didn't know either, I had to Google it before I asked the question, Corey, but it was, I kind of mailed it in last year after everything, but that
Right.
was the steps that he took to donate money from his own contract this year and divert it to the athletic program to then reinvest into the football program, players acquisition, we're guessing. So I thought that was a fair question. I know some people liked the fact that I asked it. Some people thought it was an unprofessional question. Do you think that he realized that's what I was asking him? And because he was just like, he stared at me, he's like, no. So it's like, so you don't plan on giving back part of your contract again to help out? I mean, you did it this past year and it helped a little bit.
What did that do for him? Nothing.
I
He's
guess.
not making that mistake again. He's not as dumb as this administration.
Yeah.
He's just not going to give away money. I wonder, is it still a thing? I don't hear anything about it. Is it still a thing? What'd you say it was called?
Vision of Excellence. If you Google it, it still comes up to something with Florida State. The boosters are part of the Vision of Excellence. Is a fundraising campaign that seeks to immediately raise Florida State athletics to new heights of comprehensive excellence. It's a website. It's still a website.
Yeah. That's a gobbledygook set of words all thrown together. I don't know, because I was wondering if that's still even a thing. And so, maybe he wanted to answer the question about restructuring, because I didn't know what you were asking either at first, because I had no idea what that thing was called. I forgot that was even I thought he had just donated to the Battle's End, but I guess he can't do that.
I just want to be like, hey, man, are you going to – I don't want to be a complete jerk, but hey, man, are you going to give up money from your contract again? I thought that was –
But that's what you did.
But
and it's a fair question, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fair question. In fact, I was talking to a buddy. I was texting Spencer, a buddy of ours, buddy of mine, buddy of yours. Yeah. You met him.
Part of the program.
And I was like, hey, I'm going to interview Norvell right now. Anything y'all want me to ask him? And he's like, yeah, would he be willing to restructure his contract since he gets to stay? I think that's what a lot of people are curious about. I don't know if that necessarily – his one-word answer in glare, I don't know if that necessarily means that it's not happening. They might announce something after the Florida game. I would impress upon them to try to announce something after the Florida game that there has been some modifications, but there might not be, and then they would just be, making something up at that point. He might not be willing to do that again. So yeah, we'll see. But no, I don't think it was an unfair question. I thought it was a funny exchange.
Yeah.
And it took me a while because it seemed like it got icy in the room. And I'm like, I don't even understand what Aslan just asked. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, he did technically donate to something that I'd never heard of last year. It wasn't just the Battle's End.
Yeah. And then I followed up by asking him if there was plans if they finish with 5 wins to seek bowl eligibility if it becomes available. And he's like, we plan on, attacking the following game here and putting everything we can into it. What about, I thought the other highlight exchange of the day was your question about, I feel like you can go ahead and clarify. I don't think you need to clarify, but like the way I interpret it was you're kind of giving him an off ramp to talk about like, yeah, listen, we do need to probably get some more talent, some more depth to help things out. Because, I mean, you're asking about, they're so close. Is the difference just simply maybe a few more players? Not necessarily maybe a few more plays go your way, but just a few more players. And like you gave him an off ramp to kind of have a little bit of a cop out on this, but no, man, he likes this team. He likes this roster. He thinks they have talent. Now, does he think they have championship talent truly? I mean, he's an internal optimist, so maybe he does think that, but like in his heart of hearts, does he? I don't know. What did you think about his response to that question from you, Corey?
Yeah, the way I framed it was like, look, there's been 4 games where they were, I don't know, man, 2 plays away from winning those games. But on the flip side, and this is how I worded the question, you're in games where 1 or 2 plays makes the difference. And theoretically, at a place like Florida State, when you're playing some of these teams they've lost to, that should never be the case. Your talent disparity, this is me ad-libbing here in the moment, but your talent disparity should be enough that it should not come down to 1 or 2 plays. So the point is, and I've been making this point for a year, and this all goes back to Norvell. This is Norvell's problem because it's Norvell's program. It's not like it's anybody else's fault that he doesn't have good enough players. It's his fault. But he doesn't. He doesn't have an elite roster, in my opinion. He has a roster, as he keeps talking about, that fluctuates wildly. Well, you've got some guys that can play, and you've got some guys that make flashes, but that doesn't mean they're good college football players. Certainly not elite college football players. And that's what they need. They need an elite college football player on every level. On every level of the defense, and then on every level of the offense. You need an elite wide receiver. They have one of those. You need an elite running back. I don't think you got that. You need elite quarterback. You definitely don't have that. Elite tight end, good college tight end. He's good enough. But overall, I just think when you comes down to some of these games, man, like, I don't know, like Virginia. I keep coming back to Virginia. I think Virginia is 9-2. And you have basically the same roster Virginia does. What are they? They've won 3 games in overtime. And I think part of that, man, is just their quarterback is better. And again, that's all an indictment of Norvell. That's not like, woe was him. He just can't get a break with the quarterback. No, that's his fault. Chandler Morris was available. They got somebody else. And so I think, man, when I come back, the reason I'm not completely devoid of hope going into 2026 and why I don't think there's just no chance for this coach to succeed is because I just think at the end of the day, man, it comes down to players. Let's see what kind of players he's going to get over the next month, starting with the quarterback. But, yeah, that's basically my question. It's like, you can lament all you want. Bowden used to do it too, and I'm not taking a shot at Bobby Bowden, I promise. Best to ever do it. He's the reason I'm a Florida State fan. He gave me so many great moments growing up that they could never be repaid in a million lifetimes. But Bowden, near the end of his run, would always talk about how close they were. And, yeah, that's true. You are close. But back in the day, it didn't matter if you played well or not. The talent was so much that you were beating the brakes off these teams. College football in 2025/2026, you're not going to just be beating the brakes off all these teams, but you can still win games when you don't play well. Florida State can't because the talent isn't good enough. The talent disparity isn't great enough that they can survive a C+, C- game against, especially on the road, against these teams. And, they're just not – I just don't think they're talented enough. They've got talent. They're talented enough to beat Alabama. They also have the talent to lose to Stanford. So that needs to be rectified. And that's kind of what it was basically in my own way, not an Aslan way, but in my way, it was kind of taking a shot at Norvell.
I thought you were giving him a comfortable
No, I know you say that. I don't think I was. I was saying, like, at the end of the day, man, you can lament. You can talk about how close you guys are. And the fact that these games are coming down to a couple plays or a punt off a helmet or anything, but they shouldn't be coming down to 1 or 2 plays. That's the problem. And the problem is your roster and your talent evaluation. And let's hope that changes in a hurry. Again, I keep pointing to this last recruiting class. It's the best one he's brought in by far. But if he doesn't go get a quarterback, a good one, it's not going to matter.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah, I thought overall, what'd you think of his tone overall before we get into the questions?
I don't know. You want to give me can you elaborate on the question? Lead me in a little bit more of a direction you want me to go towards? Facilitate?
No, is this? Are you recording it? No. I mean, just his attitude, his mindset.
Didn't seem all that. I mean, maybe a little bit relieved. I don't know that he knows his. I don't know. I don't think he. I don't know, man. When he said that he's going to be here hoisting trophies, I think that wasn't him getting off his skis or ahead of his skis and trying to lobby for his next coach job. I think he knew that he was going to be the head coach here, so I don't think he's.
It seems like it, right? Because I did ask him that too. I'm like, we all found out on Sunday after I cleared my throat right in the microphone because that's what I do. You're welcome, everyone watching that live. He did say when I asked, he didn't answer that question. When I asked him about when he found out,
well, because you asked him 2 ones. If you he was about to. I think he would have answered, but you asked the second thing. You're like, when did you find out? And then what was your reaction? If you would have been like, when did you find out? He might have.
Did I ask what was your reaction?
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I just, okay. But yeah, maybe I did. But he didn't answer it. He said he found out when they were going to release it.
Right.
But obviously he knew in advance that he was coming back. It wasn't like he found out with the rest of us.
Imagine if he did.
That would have been awesome if he did. But yeah, I think he might have known. They might have told him after the Stanford game, man. Which, again, I get why people might be upset with the way this thing is shaken out over the last month because it seemed like he had kind of an ultimatum to get it going after the Stanford game, and he kind of didn't. 2-2. They look great at home, look the same on the road, same issues. So, yeah, I was just interested in that. But I thought, he said the word grateful a few times. He wasn't apologetic. I don't know. He definitely wasn't talking about hoisting trophies, though. I hope.
Elite level confidence, though, still remains that he can turn this thing
he's
around.
going to say, there's always going to be Norvellisms.
I know what this looks like.
I just thought it wasn't combative. There was no fiery speeches about what this thing is going to be. Again, he believes in this team. That's fine. He can say that. It is going to be a really interesting next 9 months because, as we talked about yesterday, nobody wants to hear the rah-rah stuff because we've heard it for 2 years now, and you're 3-13. So we don't want to hear that anymore. But I thought he will have to change tone a little bit. I thought it was a shift in tone where it was, believing in the team, but not like just pounding his chest saying how he knows he's going to fix it. He seemed more reserved. Like grateful, gratitude, those are all the right words to have because he should be grateful. He doesn't deserve the job after what's happened these last 2 years.
Yeah. Let's jump right into the mailbag. A little bit of a combative one here, but he's been around for almost 20 years. It's our guy Rufus 11, joined December 14th, 2006. 51,000 posts. Maybe I need to do that for everybody. I just introduce everybody, their join date, and how many times they've posted. He's been around a long time. Wake up. Looks like we got day one of Corey's 2026 campaign. Maybe this year they win some more games to replace 2025's maybe they win out narrative. Can you discuss why you feel there's hope for offensive improvement in 2026 with a lame duck head coach, an offensive coordinator with a foot out the door, and having to replace an NFL wide receiver and 6 of 6 good offensive linemen? Well, I don't think he's a lame duck coach, Rufus. Corey,
that's true. We don't know. He might be here. He might be here until we are all dead.
Not to derail
Norvell
this.
Might have a lifetime contract.
Not to derail this question, Corey, but Jeff was talking about on his show on Monday, which is a must listen. Go back and listen to that, where the timing of the release. Obviously, you're doing it after Stanford and it not really holding a lot of water afterwards. Like, what was the point of that? Like, could he have? Was his job really ever in jeopardy? It seems like it was not ever really in jeopardy. So if they would have gone to Jeff's point was trying to make was when they did what they did at the end of last season, getting rid of all the coordinators, they should have made it kind of more apparent. Maybe it was apparent to them, but not to people like me, but
this was going to be a multi-year rebuild. I don't even think next year, sadly, man, I don't think next year is all or nothing for him. I think if they win 7 or 8 games, I think they bring him back. I really do.
I mean, I get it. And that's where people are really kind of, there's a lot of trepidation with that. Because, yeah, man, if you're willing to bring him back after 5-7, 2-6, you're not going to be willing to bring him back after 8-4? Yeah, man, that's absolutely on the table. So, yeah, and that's frustrating. It's I think a lot of people, it's maddening, it's depressing, whatever adjective you want to use, they all fit. But to Rufus's question, I get it. I'm not sitting here. I don't want you to think I'm sitting here predicting that they're going to go run off 9 or 10 wins. None of us know. When I was sitting here talking to you guys last year, would any of y'all in a million years thought they were going to beat Alabama?
Right.
We just don't know. And, yes, they're going to have at least – well, they're going to have a whole new offensive line, hopefully a new quarterback, maybe a new coordinator, maybe a new number 1 receiver. We don't know about Deuce, but you would think he's probably out the door. It's going to be another massive overhaul on the offense, and that's gross. But it can be done. Florida State is not immune to getting good players to come here. Do I trust that it's going to be better next year? No. I also didn't trust – I know what I said, but you guys know, I hope you know, that a lot of that was tongue-in-cheek. I wasn't – if you saw – well, I shouldn't say this, but I don't care. If you saw the way I was betting on some of these games, you would know I was not believing Florida State was about to win all 3. So I think that when I said that I thought they could win 3 in a row or win out, I'm just putting the hypothetical in the possibility.
It was possible, right.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility, man. I never would have thought 2 years ago that Georgia Tech would have been 8-2 going into the Pitt game, or 8-1, whatever they were, 9-1. They won 9 games this year. 2 years ago, they were awful. Well, they fired their head coach, didn't they, though, gang? Anyway, so, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. We can sit here and just say they're going to suck. They're going to be awful. They have no chance. But we have no idea what the roster is going to be.
Do you agree with Andy? So shout out Andy Staples, who tried to kind of make the point that you didn't allow me to make because you boxed me out, Corey, because you're so much smarter than I am. But just in terms of, I don't think this really is about the money, believe it or not, man. They're going to spend almost just as much money to keep him around and quote unquote prop him up if you're a guy like me, or support him if you're like other people out there that are fully behind this. But he kind of laid out the math in terms of, no, man, like they're going to have to spend a lot of money to keep this thing rolling along. And Andy Staples was saying like twice, I think, in his story about Florida State's going to have to miracle a roster to make this thing end up working out by keeping him. Like, is that a word you would use? Like, do they need a miracle a roster for this thing to work, or can they get something similar to what they had this year and maybe along the edges? And not so much edge, but a better quarterback. And then that's good enough to be where you need to be in this conference to then get into the playoff, and whatever happens there, and you're happy.
Yeah, I think sadly, Andy Staples, and rightfully so, I think a lot of people are on his side when it comes to this, or understand his argument. He's looking at Florida State as a national program, a national power, and they don't seem all that close to Ohio State, do they? Right. Or Georgia, or Texas, which is where they belong, in my opinion, but they're not there and they're not close to that. As I've been saying here for a couple years now, first things first, man, get up to the top of the ACC. And that does not take a miracle roster. Yeah. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Who's going to play in the ACC championship game?
SMU and either Pitt and Georgia Tech, or Virginia. Yeah,
or
like those
Virginia?
4. Yeah, those 4, yeah.
Virginia's got to beat Virginia Tech.
Yep.
And they're in the ACC championship game.
An interim coach, Virginia Tech, yeah.
Yeah. So was that a miracle roster? Did they go above and beyond and go tap Tony Bennett and get some of that retirement money? Or Ralph Sampson, R.I.P., he might be dead. I don't know why I brought his name up. There's got to be some more famous Virginia alums. Thomas Jefferson's estate.
Chris Long,
there you go. There's some Virginia alums.
Ralph Sampson's still with us.
Oh, he is. Good. Thank heavens.
Heath Miller.
DeAndre Hunter. Okay. The great DeAndre Hunter. Yeah. Kyle Guy. Yeah. All those greats from that championship team, and the one that lost in the first round as a number 1 seed. But, yeah, man, it doesn't take a miracle to get to the top of this conference. And that's what I keep coming back to is like, man, I know that it seems like a long, arduous dare I say, climb to get back to the top of the national mountain. But how's about you get near the top of this friggin' conference mountain first? And that, again, this guy's got to be better. Clearly, he's got to be better. But that will not take a modern-day miracle to compete with the likes of Georgia Tech, Virginia, and SMU. That's where I just get to Charlotte, man. And I don't think that's asking at all too much of this program next year. Maybe in hindsight it was asking too much this year, but then they went and beat Alabama to start the season, and you're like, well, good grief. They could go do anything. Well, they couldn't. They can't. And maybe they never will with this coach again. But it's not going to – I don't think it'll take a miracle to get a competitive ACC roster. No. A 9-win roster? No. To get a playoff semifinal roster? Yeah, that'll take a miracle and an unbelievable hit at quarterback. I don't foresee that happening, but that doesn't mean the other stuff can't happen.
Moving along, we got Combine, our guy, Island Chief in Greenville. Island Chief, wake up. I am a fan. Not a fan of how this was unfolded, but I'm a fan. Here we are. Let's make the best out of it. Get to work. We want Bama.
There you go.
Easy. Here's
Tuscaloosa, baby.
By the way, so that's going to be like week 3. And then they have Central.
It is?
Yeah, they have, because it's September. It's like September in the teens. And then.
No, it's not. Are you serious?
That's what I saw when I looked at footballschedules.com.
Well, they had them playing Notre Dame, too. Do they still got Notre Dame on the schedule?
They don't. They removed that. So they've got Saturday, September 19th at Alabama, Saturday, September 26th, hosting Central Arkansas, who apparently their best receiver just is going to probably enter the portal, and their coach is going to be retained, much like Mike Norvell and the people in wherever Central Arkansas is. Conway, they're not happy about it. But yeah, so September 19th, they have Alabama. September 26th, they have Central Arkansas. And that's it for their non-conference. And obviously Florida. So they're going to have...
Well, I think they have another one they haven't announced yet.
They haven't announced yet? Okay, well, yeah, let's get that.
Yeah, they must. They're going to have 12 games this year, I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's get that in there. So here's a take and but yeah, it's going to be crazy that they can.
Well, if that's true, I don't know why. Are we sure about that?
It's not on the Florida State website, but this site is kind of what a lot of people go to.
It's usually pretty accurate. Yeah. But if they're playing Alabama in the middle of September, man, that's way better than opening with them.
In 2019, for what it's worth, this was posted back on Seminoles.com back on November of 2024. It does have Alabama listed as September 19th on the Seminoles.com website. Florida, November 28th.
Okay.
Central
well,
Arkansas,
that makes me feel better. I don't know why.
Okay.
But say you're not opening up with Central Michigan. I guess you might open up with an ACC game.
Central Arkansas. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Hopefully it's a road game. Go beat SMU on the road. I think they get SMU at home. But yeah, maybe open up with Virginia at home or something, and you can somehow miracle a win there. Go play, I don't know, New Mexico or UTEP or Rice or somebody. Beat them. You feel good about yourself going to the Alabama game.
Yeah.
I thought they were opening up with Alabama.
I did,
and I'm
too.
like, oh boy,
yeah, no.
You're already going to start off the season with everybody saying, "See,
yeah.
you can't win on the road again."
That's going to be 2027 when they open up with Georgia.
Well, they need to cancel that series.
Books, if that stays
they
on the
need
books.
to cancel that series. The money they saved from not paying him to leave, go ahead and pay Georgia.
By the way, the away games for next year in conference at BC, at Louisville, at Miami, at Pitt. Clemson,
All
NC
wins.
State, SMU, Virginia at home.
All easy wins.
Well, Virginia's not going to
8-0.
have Chandler Morris. That's always good. All right, so here's a take and a question from Island Chief. I think we've hit rock bottom, so it's all up from here. Is it either a great redemption story or more of the same? Gus is gone. Who is our next offensive coordinator? And are the pieces here for him to be successful? Is only continued growth acceptable going forward till we are playing for spots in the postseason on the regular? And then Greenville says, at least we can move on from the questions of Norvell's future and onto the question of, so what now? Gus sounds like he's gone. So who do you think is the leading candidate for the OC job?
Maybe Tokarz?
Oh, too soon.
Wouldn't that be? Well, hey, Norvell, go all in, man. Nobody's excited about any of this. Just lean into it. Like Forrest Gump sailing into the storm or something. Yeah. Just lean into it and say Tokarz is your bring Fuller back. Tokarz is your OC. Just have at it. I have no idea. We don't even know for sure Gus is gone. You just got that sense on Sunday night when we talked to him. I will say this. I thought another interesting part of Norvell's and you have to read between the lines. He's never going to say something just completely. Even when he's talking about a muffed punt, he won't just say Squirrel White dropped the punt.
Yeah.
He'll say something like, and we had and then we had another challenging situation on a punt. Yeah. It's like, man, just say he muffed it. It's okay. We all saw it. But anyway, he was asked about Tommy again on Monday and about his status and waiver and if he's coming back for next year. And that was about as non-committal as you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
It does not appear that Tom – and again, I'm just reading between the lines. I could be wrong. Granted, I could be 100% wrong. I do not expect Tommy Castellanos to be back here next year. And I don't think that I don't expect Gus to be back here next year. But that's just reading the room, not necessarily anything we've heard from behind the scenes. We know Gus – interviewed for the Arkansas job, or at least he was rumored to have. But, yeah, so to answer the question about the offense, no idea. No idea. And the problem is you could give it back to Norvell. He is an offensive guy. Save money there. But do we trust him? And do we trust him to make a good hire here? He hired a guy that hired him 20 years ago. There's a lot of great candidates you could bring in to be your coordinator. I would go get somebody, and I know I've said this, when I was looking at a head coach, I wanted someone that had been around. I wanted, if I was going to get a coordinator, it'd be a Hartline or a Schulman or somebody like that at these big schools. But if I'm going to go get an offensive coordinator for this year, go get me one that will bring his quarterback. Like, it is a package deal, and I'm not joking.
Do you think the guy, to that point, would you think Eric Morris would leave North Texas and bring Mesterman with him?
Is he the head coach?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he'd leave I mean, North Texas is a top 25 program. I don't think you'd leave the head coaching spot to be the OC somewhere, especially in the ACC. I wouldn't think that. I think you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go get an OC or I guess maybe a head coach that calls the plays at a smaller school than even North Texas, maybe. All right, maybe not. But like I want, and I texted you. I won't share it now. We'll talk about quarterback prospects. But I shared with you and Ira a guy that had my antenna raised when I was looking through some stats yesterday that was from a smaller school. And I was like, man, go get him and his coordinator. Bring them in. Get me a quarterback. I'm telling you, man, I think that's more important than the OC by a large degree. But you might not be able to get the quarterback you want unless you bring in his OC. Like, Oklahoma is Oklahoma this year. Now, it's because of their defense, let's be honest. But Mateer and what's my man's name, the OC?
Ben Arbuckle.
Yeah, man, that's a great hire.
That's who your boy wanted,
because of who he brought in.
I wanted Arbuckle in him. But anyways.
Yeah, so that because who he brought in. So that would be my sole focus if I'm Norvell. Is I go because I'm telling you folks, I know we want to badmouth this program and you think it's a rock bottom and nobody would come here. There are coordinators all over this country and there are quarterbacks all over this country that would give years off their life to come play and coach at Florida State for 1 or 2 years. So go find one that's worlds better than what we've seen the last 2 years. And that helps things immensely. And there are a lot of talented quarterbacks at smaller schools and at big schools that might be in the portal here soon. Go get one.
Greenville had a second part to his question, Corey, which, you kind of touched upon it there towards the end of that answer. But he says, Corey, I completely get your take on the program, but, and again, this is a huge but, what if we cannot recover? Someone posted, we are Nebraska on the tribal council, and I had to agree because I just don't see what makes us different. We are a program that was once the best to ever be, that's fallen into disrepair, and our foundation is shaky at best. Nebraska has generational boosters. FSU only started a football program in the 40s. The well of deep pocket boosters is not nearly as deep. We only have the administration to blame for the bad decisions. And yes, in the portal era, we can change it quickly, but the question remains, can it be sustained?
Yeah, I think that's the better question, the sustainability. I absolutely think Florida State – I mean, guys, again, it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. We were getting ready on this day to watch the playoff committee selection show to see where undefeated Florida State was. In the year before that, they won 6 in a row and finished with 10 wins. This is not – Nebraska hasn't sniffed 13 wins since I had hair. Lots of it. Florida State just won 13 games 2 years ago. But what I do wonder about, and I think some of this is a Florida State-specific issue, maybe because of that, especially if there is no rev cap. It could come to, just money. But also, I don't know how sustainable many of these programs are anymore. I don't know how sustainable it is what Miami's doing, or Indiana, or pick a team.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, Texas A&M. They've had a nice run, all those schools I just mentioned. But I don't know if it's sustainable for the foreseeable future. And so, I can't answer that question. I 100% don't subscribe to the Nebraska comparison. Again, Nebraska has not been relevant in a quarter century. They would give anything to have a 13-0 season. You guys got to live that 2 years ago. So it's not Nebraska. And again, for all the reasons we know, the state most importantly, you can win here, and you can win big here. Mike Norvell, who again is not a good coach, apparently, went 13-0 at Florida State. So it can be done. It's just a matter of getting the right players. But again, I think it's an appealing and attractive enough place that you get to fish in most of the same ponds that everybody else does. You just got to have better bait, get better fish. You can tell I'm a fisherman at heart.
Yeah, man.
Right?
For sure.
You get chum in the water. Get some chum in the water. I don't know what that is. I think that's just bloody fish guts.
Yeah.
Throw it out there and see what bites. Because you are Florida State, man. You are recruiting at a different level than Nebraska in the portal and in just high school ranks. Even in this 5-year stretch with this guy at the helm, you're getting better recruits. Maybe not better players, but you're getting higher rated recruits than Nebraska. So you're not there, but you're not anywhere close to where you need to be either. And I don't know if in the modern age of college football, if it is sustainable where you're just going to have 5, 6, 8 great years in a row.
Well, they've been doing it for what, like 18 years over the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill? 16?
I think they're about to have their 19th birthday
19th.
coming up in a week or so.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com, the website. Catch the Florida game with fellow Noles, 4:30 kickoff. Odd kickoff, but nothing odd about the awesome food, the awesome people, the ice-cold, affordable drinks, and the fact that your favorite team is going to be on all the television sets when the Noles take the field in whatever sport. Soccer, hoops, obviously football. Check it out, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, Trivia Night, later tonight, 7 p.m. Come on out. Will they be competing against Corey Clark?
I don't think – no, definitely not Corey Clark again. Corey Clark's going to be at basketball again. I can't – these Tuesday night games.
Come on, Luke.
Going to see how many threes the Noles hoist tonight. So I won't be able to do trivia, but it'll be going on, and it's $40 house cash if you win. And you can spend it on some corn dog bites, some cold brews, some tasty bevs, some apps, some mussels. The grouper sandwich, I gotta pimp that again. That thing was awesome when I had it. The fries, the chips, it's all great there, man. It's all great.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and NAPA Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. Form and function, fit and futuristic. Ditch the old, clunky, stale wallet for a wallet from Ridge. Featuring premium materials for a premium feel. It'll be the last wallet you're ever going to buy because Ridge comes with a lifetime warranty. Oh, yeah, and free shipping. And a 99-day risk-free trial. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code WAKEUP at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use the code WAKEUP, and you're all set. I like this thing, guys. I've got better lower body mobility. Is it because I haven't been sitting on a wallet for like the last 6 months, or is it because I've been doing a little bit more mobility workout at the gym? I don't know, but it fits right into your front pocket. Piece of cake. And I'm not skinny jean guy. Okay, let's be honest. I know you guys think my fashion styles might be a little too flamboyant, but I don't wear skinny jeans. But I wear slim fit stuff, and it fits perfectly. So if you got the baggy stuff, piece of cake. Front pocket, all good. When you do your check before you leave the house, you won't have to tap the back of your back. You'll just be like, front pocket, I'm good to go. Check out Ridge, ridge.com. Use the promo code WAKEUP to save 10% off your order. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. warchantbogo, your promo code. What if he replaced climb with hoist, Corey? What if that was the new tag, like hoist?
And that's a new acronym?
Yeah, just
Doesn't
like
climb,
honor.
Isn't climb an acronym too?
It is. It's, I know the L is little things, the B is brotherhood. But yeah, they all mean something, each single letter.
That was disappointing when I found that out. I didn't know it was an acronym. That makes it even worse. But yeah, I don't think, again, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to his messaging. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that anymore. They will mock it at this point. Like, we're all adults in the room. We know why you're here. You do have, because your buyout is crazy, but you do have a chance to write it. You do have a chance. Yeah. He said he's not going to let them down. I thought that was his best quote.
That felt very Tommy Castellanos. I'm here to save people's jobs. Look, I won't
and
let
by the
you
way,
down.
Tommy was right. Tommy was right. Tommy did it. That Alabama win saved everybody's job. Wait, Tommy called his shot. Not only did he beat Alabama, he saved his head coach's job.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. The Oklahoma Venables thing right here. Football Burner. This is a new. I've never seen this name around. Oh, they joined on Monday.
Okay, just to yell at me?
I guess. Wake up! With Mike coming back and the emphasis on changing the front office, I dare you, Football Burner, to be around here for another month. Come on, do it. With Mike coming back and the emphasis on changing the front office, how is next year not just a repeat of this year? What I mean by that is they want to emulate Oklahoma, but what is lost in Oklahoma's success is that Brent Venables had one of the best defenses in the country and sustained success recruiting. With that said, what is the record and recruiting production needed that would allow him to stay 8-4, top 10 class, 10-2, top 15, or are we just kicking the can down the road with another year of rentals? At some point, we have to take our lumps and stack elite classes. So the structural change, and then our guy down in Naples, Mark, says, since we really didn't get specifics on Sunday, what do you think your best guess is on what those structural changes will be? Whole new org chart, significant changes on who does what with evaluation, and changes on who reports to who. I say we should follow the Oklahoma blueprint, but they basically just told Venables to coach up the defense and not get bogged down in too much else. What are we going to tell Mike to focus on? Receivers? Go back to being the portal king? Leave high school recruiting and especially quarterback recruiting to somebody else? So yeah, Oklahoma structural changes. Is that what we're looking at, do you think?
Yeah, man, we don't have really the specifics. Mike wouldn't get into it. And I thought there was a really good post on the message boards today. I dipped my toe into that water a little bit on
I saw. Get involved.
Monday.
I like the Corey. It's always good to see you and Brady's face pop up.
Grumpy BK asked what my buyout was, which was really funny. So then I started reading that, and I'm like, oh, I can't read this. This is all negative. They all hate me. And then some people came to my defense, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm done. But
they love you, Corey.
But yeah, somebody in another thread talked about, because he said, I thought it was a perfectly well articulated point. He's like, I wanted to fire Norvell. When I heard they were doing structural changes to the program, I reconsidered. I hope it's not just superficial changes, though, because if it is, that will be very disappointing.
No.
But time will tell. And that's what I wonder about, man. Like, what are they doing really with the nuts and bolts of the way they run a program? Because you could foresee I don't know, man, a program, and you could foresee a landscape where it could be more like an NFL model, where the GMs and the player personnel people make the decisions. The head coach is just on the field. And that's that. He doesn't have a ton of player personnel, and he works at the behest of the general manager. The general manager could fire him. But you're right, that's the org chart I don't know about. Who do you get to do this? Who's qualified to do something like this? Do you have one for high school and one for portal? Which one do you value more? Who's going to go get you a quarterback? Those are all great questions that none of us know the answer to. Is it as simple as keep everything the same and go get a better quarterback? I don't think that's the case. I think there is something fundamentally wrong with the way this team prepares. Not just on the week leading up to the game, but even the offseason.
Has a GM affect that, though,
Yeah, there could, but it's got to be somebody that he respects and somebody that's respectable, that's done this at some level, that could come in and say, no, this doesn't make sense. what is this tour of duty stuff? I know you've got to work out in the offseason, but what exactly, when you're pushing a tire around, what is that doing for what you're going to be doing in the third quarter against Alabama on, as we now all know, September 19th? And I'm not saying they're not going to not have an off-season conditioning program. I get that. That's part of college football. But maybe do it differently. Legitimately, maybe change the way you practice. Change when you practice. Change who you recruit, how you recruit. Who's doing the offering? Who has to sign off before you offer someone? What do you have to hear from them? All that is on the table, man. I don't know. And I don't know what Oklahoma did other than they brought in Arbuckle. I know they brought in Nagy.
Yeah.
But they also have, I think, the best defense. They have the advantage of having a Hall of Fame defensive coach. That dude is a first ballot Hall of Fame defensive coach. He is great. Mm-hmm. You don't have that as your head coach. So it's hard to really follow that model. You can't just tell Mike Norvell, hey, man, just go concentrate on the offense. Please don't. So then I don't know how you could follow that Oklahoma model successfully. And I think that's why this next 6 weeks, the hires they make, the announcements they make, the fires they make, if they make any, will be fascinating.
Man, I think this is multiple years, man. To the second part of Football Burner's question, my thing was, I was looking, the silver lining I thought was that 2026 was an absolute line in the sand. Like, you have to deliver. Like, we're giving you every possible thing now. Like, we're changing everything. We're giving you all these resources. But I think, largely to the point from our guy over at Cummins Lifestyle, one word, give it a follow on Instagram. I think the administration looked at this almost like year one, Corey. And I think next year, this was Mike Norvell 2.0. Yeah. I think next year is Mike Norvell 3.0, and it's year one all over again. And I think he gets a minimum of 2 more seasons. I really do. And I don't say that to aggravate people, and I say it pretty dejected because I don't think this is the right way to carry forward this program. But, they like this guy. I don't think it's the money, man. They just like him.
Do. But I don't think I agree with that. I think there is an avenue to where if it goes really poorly next year, he's out, and he might be out in the middle of the season.
It won't, though, Corey, because he's not that horrible of a coach, and they're going to give him a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to have as good of a roster, if not better of a roster. And I get it, man. There have been some really weird things that have not broken in Florida State's favor this season. I'm not saying that they're all going to flip and go in their favor, but maybe 2 of those go in your favor, right? You split the difference. We can get 2 go against us, 2 go for us. Yeah, man, this is not going to be worse. But we shouldn't pat ourselves on the back because, again, we're going from 2-10 to possibly from 5-7, and then you're getting all these toys and all these different avenues to enhance and increase your brand and your talent and your roster. And yeah, of course you should be better. I mean, yeah, if he goes 3
but isn't 9, that at the end of the day? And I'm not certainly convinced that it will be better next year. We'll see. But at the end of the day, get better. Like, the whole goal, if you fired him to bring somebody else in, would be to get better, to get the program better. So if next year is a positive step, and again, that's a big if, then mission accomplished. It's a positive step. It's not with the guy that a lot of people want to be the head coach. They don't think he should be able to get to do it. I understand that. But if you're a Florida State fan and they have a better season than the last one, that is improvement, and that also sets you up for possibly a really good season the next year. If you can build anything foundationally, if you get a quarterback that can be here for more than 12 months, that would be nice. That's good. That could be nice, and you might be trying to join a new conference. That all might be good. So the end of the day, what you want to be in 2026 is better than you were in 2025. That's absolutely on the table. Is it going to be what any of us want out of this program? I mean, odds are no. But, again, we don't know because it's so hard to talk about it because we don't know the roster.
Right.
And I'm not convinced that Mike Norvell is such a horrible coach that if you gave him a good roster with all these bells and whistles that he would fiddle around and F it up.
Yeah, I don't think he would squander it, no.
Yeah, I mean, he might.
But it's just the fact that
I think this is a better roster than what he's turned it into.
But I don't think he screwed it up. He didn't, the KJ Kirkland thing, he didn't coach that up. He didn't coach Randy Pittman to drop
a fourth down conversion against Clemson. Like, so I get him. I'm not trying to defend him, everybody. Trust me. Listen, man. I'm not.
Yeah, we're reversing roles today.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Norvell sucks.
I forgot. Yeah. He's awesome. Give him
We're doing this every day. We're going to keep y'all on y'all's toes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They're going to give him all these opportunities to succeed, which that's what you want to do for your leader. But I don't think he deserves to be the guy that gets all these luxuries, all this ability to be successful.
I don't either. But again, I would come back to in talking about him today. If we keep it more timely about what we heard on Monday, him believing in the future of this team, because they do have a core group of guys that are pretty good. We think the Desir twins, chief among them. But yeah, they do have. He likes the skill player guys. He mentioned Danzy and Desirs by name. Boggs is out there. Cromaw. McCoy, if he can stay on the field, like they have some talented pieces. So when he thinks about the future, he does see a little a cornerstone of production to build upon and to build around, which he has never had here. Which is a positive and a negative. Like, it's crazy that in year 6 he finally has a freshman class that he feels like he can build around. But that's the truth. He does. So, but whether we think he deserves to be here or not, the end goal is, will Florida State be better in 2026? And I think there's a chance they could be. I mean, it ain't that hard to beat 5 or 6 wins. So there is a chance they could be much better. And at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for, especially when the alternative is to go spend the amount of money you'd have to go spend to take a wild card, a guess with somebody else. So I think that the point I was trying to make yesterday and the point I'm trying to make again now is, I don't care how it happens, man. I literally don't care if Norvell sits in the press box with us and has no say on game day. I don't care if he's at the stadium. I don't need any of that, really, honestly. Like, I don't care. Whatever it takes for this program to start winning more than 5 or 6 games and having to fight for bowl eligibility in Game 12 is what I'm all about. Is this the best route to do it? I don't know. But neither does anyone else.
We'll see. We'll see what Penn State, LSU, and Florida look like versus Baylor, Florida State, and who else kept their coach? Wisconsin. We'll see.
Maryland.
Wisconsin too. But to your point, though, Maryland. I mean, Baylor's at least been like in a power New Year's Six bowl here in the last 10 years, so they can be lumped in with us, and that's fine.
Wisconsin, I think, is the closest to Florida State. They're a football-ish school.
Yeah.
They're more. I guess they're better at basketball, but they've had some football success. They've been a perennial top 20 team.
They care.
They do care, and they kept their coach.
Exactly.
And we will see. I'm also very interested, extremely interested, in who does Florida get, who does LSU get, who does Penn State get?
Yeah.
Because all of them fired their coaches months ago now. And they still don't have a head coach, any of them. Who are they getting? And is it going to be an upgrade over who they had? Florida, probably. I'm not guaranteed that LSU gets an upgrade over Brian Kelly, and I'm damn sure not guaranteed that Penn State is going to get an upgrade over James Franklin. So we'll see how all that shakes out. But again, scared money never made money.
Wanted to jump in and interrupt you 3 minutes ago, but I didn't. You talked about the conference change possibly. WTF, Noel. Good morning, gents. First time asking a question in a long time. I don't want to give this short shrift, Corey, but I mean, I don't have a long answer to it, but it was related to what we're talking about. Crazy thought from him. Could the reason that we kept Mike and company be that we need the funds to help us leave the ACC in the next year or so? If we were to say, peace out, we're out of here to this godforsaken conference, how much would we need up front? And would leaving the conference be better than firing Norvell? Which would you rather happen first after this next season?
I mean, isn't the answer to that? In fact, it would be awesome if Florida State announced they were leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, that would
Wouldn't that be like, okay, now we get it. Yeah. Now we get it. Because what's it going to cost? Like $70 million to leave?
I don't even know. I thought their settlement was really super favorable. I didn't think it was that big of a. I'll see if I can.
Well, I think it goes down each year, but the first year I thought was 75, then it whittles down to 60, then 40, depending on how long they stay. But it's not the $300 million we were told was.
Yes, it drops to $75 million for the 2030-31 season, which is what Mike Norvell's contract runs to. Funny enough.
Okay, so
decreases by $18 million each year. So right now it's $165. So it'll drop 18 each year.
I know that's 3 years away or whatever, but yeah, I think now I don't want Norvell here sucking for the next 4 years. while we wait for that to become a reality where they would leave the conference. So let's hope he figures it out, or they figure it out for him. But man, I don't know if they're doing that. It's a lot of expenses in a row, guys. Yeah, they do want to get out of this conference. At minimum, that's going to cost them $75 million, right? You said that was. I mean, I guess they could wait till 2032, but I'm of the opinion they want to get out of here sooner rather than later.
Yes.
So I would think as soon as they can do it, which would be 2030, right? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, that's when it drops to 75.
Yeah, so I guess they could do it now. Yeah, you're right. They could do it now, huh? But it'd just be like
165 million or something like that, I think it said. Yeah, 165 if they leave after if they do it now, and then it decreases $18 million per year until it hits 75 in 2030.
Okay, so maybe give it 2 more years and then bounce. So that's $36 million you've saved, along with the $58 million you don't have to pay that guy not to coach. So, yeah, man, that's $100 million you saved to try to get out of this conference. I feel like it just sucks that what do we do in the meantime, even if that is the goal? Because they have spent all this money on the cool football facility. The stadium looks great. All those enhancements have really worked. It's all cool. It's all fun, except for the product that we see on Saturdays. But we just don't want to wait around for that to happen and be depressed most Saturdays or Friday nights. Many Friday nights to Saturdays, I guess, or Sunday mornings. Really, they've only lost 3 games on Saturday, Aslan. Clemson game was a Saturday.
Yeah.
Pitt was a Saturday. Stanford was Sunday morning.
Oh, that's right.
So
Miami.
I'm going to call that a Sunday morning in Miami. Yeah. So they've only lost 3 on Saturday. They're 4-3 on Saturdays.
Okay.
5-3 on Saturdays. So I wonder if that plays a role. But yeah, man, that bill comes due. You still owe all the money on this other stuff, and I will say this, because Jeff, it was funny seeing Jeff and Tom's for their show, the logo, the graphic.
Yeah.
What the graphic was, they don't care about you, with a picture of Alford, Peter Collins, and President McCullough.
And shout out to Ira.
Really funny.
Ira goes and gets a interview with Daryl Jackson giving away turkeys to cleanse the palate of our video feed. Like, wait, let's have this be the front facing part of our site for a little bit.
But what I was going to say is I don't know. They don't right now. In their job isn't really kind of to care about you guys, to the fans right now. Their goal, what they need to be worried about. Obviously, short term, you want to win games. They are trying to get out of this conference, and they are trying to do what they think is best for Florida State. You might disagree. I'm sure many of you do, but that's what they think is best for Florida State. Is to not spend the money like that, because they only have a finite amount of money, and you've tried to get out of this conference, and you had to pay for all this. But they did care about the fans 2 years ago, right? Like, why else give them that extension?
Yeah.
I think when we look back at that extension, if it was anybody else, and I've said this before, so it's a dead horse, but if it's any other team in the country, I think they're like, okay, man, go ahead. It was the team that just stole your playoff spot, and then they're going to steal your coach. The indignity of that, as upset and frustrated as people were, and like just completely just depressed about the way that season ended, and how down Florida State fans felt about their lot in life, about their lot in this sport. And then the Alabama team that erroneously stole your playoff bid and put up a whopping 13 points in the playoff game with their not injured quarterback, then they're going to come take your head coach just to take your face and push it down in mud even more. I just don't think the Florida State administration thought their fans could handle that. And they might have been right. Like, it would have been a crotch shot of a lifetime in that moment, in hindsight. I mean, at the time, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Alabama doing that. It's like taking your girl and kicking your dog. Or no, taking your dog. Taking your girlfriend and your dog. And kicking your dad in the nuts. That's what it would have felt like for Florida State fans if that had happened. So at that time, they did care about the fans and their reaction to that. Too much.
And that's what got us into this mess.
Yes, right. So now they're showing, okay, that was a mistake. We cared about the fans too much. It did not make sense financially to do that under any scenario, but they wanted to give their fans some good news after that horrible month of December, after a wonderful season, to just be beaten down by the college footballs, the Kirk Herbstreits of the world, and then the Orange Bowl. And then, oh, yeah, after you just lost by 60 points, 5 days later, your head coach leaves for the team that stole your spot. Gross. That would have been as depressing a moment. Talk about what rock bottom would have felt like. You'd have wondered, what's Florida State's place in this sport, man? Not only do you get left behind in the playoff when you're undefeated and you beat LSU and the Heisman Trophy winner, on top of that, now your head coach is using your program as a stepping stone, Florida State as a stepping stone? No chance. They just felt in that moment they had to look out for their fans and their fans' emotions. Honestly, I do feel that. And it's biting them in the butt to the tune of this. So now, yeah, man, you can't now just all of a sudden care too much about what the fans want. You have to do what you think is right for Florida State. I'm not saying what they're doing is right. I'm saying they think what they're doing is right.
And it's the mailbag. It's been really long, and we haven't put our mugs up on the screen. I think it's probably about that time. This question seems to kind of encapsulate maybe a lot of what we've already talked about, Corey, but is probably going to be the blueprint for what we're going to be talking about for the next 8 months or so, and it's our guy, the Noles, 24. Let's get some stats on them. Joined November 2019. This is their fourth ever post.
All right, okay. All right, man.
Fourth ever post.
It's a big one, too. It's a long post. There you go. Yeah. Get your money's worth.
Yeah. We're keeping Norvell, and they have announced the full overhaul of how the program will operate. So what should the administration define right now as the standard for judging real progress next year? If the record ends up in that same 6-6 to 8-4 range, what specific on-field, off-field signs would separate normal growing pains from evidence that Norvell has reached his ceiling? And if the school moves on from him, how do you evaluate whether the new infrastructure plan is working when a new coach will also need time to adjust to it? How do you keep each new phase from resetting the clock and leaving the program unable to judge whether the system itself is actually succeeding? Lots to go and parse right there, Corey. But first, it's generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Cameras are on.
Yeah.
You can do that once or twice, but I need you to push it and hold it down for about 2 counts.
And then a gee. Just because I'm still old school.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, Corey likes to do like a cranking his mower on when he does that, and he gives a
lawnmower, cranking a legitimate, literal lawnmower.
When's the last time you mowed a lawn, Corey?
6 months ago or so. I did it for. It's an electric mower though. Those are the best. Yeah. Just charge them up. Yeah, I don't have to not doing any of that either. Just hitting a button.
It is generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Get lots of inspiration on what you can do when you've got like an RV generator, a portable generator. World's your oyster. Get outside. I know it's a little bit cold, most parts of this great country of ours, but you got a portable generator. You have like a space heater with you. You'll be fine. You got to watch your kid's soccer game in high school. It's cold this time of year. I get it. Get a portable power station. Plug in like a space heater in the stands. You'll be the coolest person there. Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word. Stock absolutely shot through the roof on Monday, by the way, Corey, and I still haven't bought stock.
That's dumb. That's on you.
It is.
That's on you.
It is. By the way, all of our weekly winners going to the end-of-year grand prize drawing, which is either going to happen next week after the Florida game. I think we'll have one finalist, one final drawing perhaps next week for a contestant, if you will, Corey, and then we're going to go ahead and give away a free Cummins own-in portable generator, everybody. And again, wait till you find out what we're going to give away next year. Follow him on Instagram. That's all we're asking. Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word. All right, Corey. So, lots going on right here. I guess let's start maybe the first part. What should the administration define right now as a standard for real progress in 2026? Because, again, I mean, I don't know. I do think that this is a multi-year, man. And I know 2 years is technically multi-year. And this was year one. Next year will be year two. Yeah. Again, my standard is being in the playoff hunt in November, but I think that maybe even if he doesn't make that hallmark, if you will, Corey, he'll be safe, I think, for 2027, man. What do you think they should define? What could they define as the standard for real progress next year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously wins matter. You can't be in my opinion, you can't be fiddling around and going winless on the road and being the 14th best team in the ACC. I know these schedules aren't all uneven. Georgia Tech played a much easier schedule than Florida State, blah, blah, blah. 2-6 in the ACC is absurd. So you've got to make some hay in the ACC. That really is my standard, man. To me, that's the standard. You need to get to 6-2 in the ACC. That's not asking for a ton, Aslan. That's not asking for a ton. So go do that, please. It's not that hard to win 6 games in the ACC or 5 games. But it's also like, show us you can win games. Show us you can win on the road. Show us you can improve from week 1 to week 12. Those would all be nice. But also, if you do say have a 7-5 or 8-4 season, nobody's saying that's great, and you shouldn't be taking any bows for it. But are you doing it with a lot of young guys? That you have hope that, okay, another year with this core, then next year they'll be even better. Or are they all one-off rentals? You know what I mean? Like, this offense, as much as improved as it is, they might all be gone. Every single starter besides Mekhi Danzy, who worked into a starting role, they might all be gone, and you've got to start over again. This defense, you have some real pieces to work with that should be coming back. The offense, you don't know. So next year, if the offense is pretty good and you win some games and you have a quarterback that's really good, is he coming back the next year? Is he just a sophomore, or is he bouncing to the NFL and you got to start all over? That's how I think you judge if there's real progress here. Because I don't – But I was going to say, because I don't trust this guy to, even if they have a really good year next year, if it's on the backs of a bunch of one-year rentals, I don't trust this head coach to be able to replicate that in the portal again, because we've seen that happen, and he's failed to replicate it when all the good players left.
I don't think we can answer the second part. If the record ends up in the same 6-6, 8-4, what specific on-field, off-field signs would separate normal growing pains from evidence that Mike has reached his ceiling? I mean, the only way that it would be if like they ended up going to Kevin Sperry as their starting quarterback, right? And he's first-time redshirt freshman quarterback, and there's growing pains like in his development, and then you would feel, okay, one more year, he'll be more comfortable. But I don't think they're going to turn to Kevin Sperry as the solution in 2026. So I don't know really. Again, I mean, they're going to play hard for him, man. They are. Like, he's going to find guys, and they're going to believe in him because that's his MO. Like, he gets guys that believe in him. They like him a lot. They play hard for him, but they don't necessarily make enough plays to win football games, though, unfortunately. If the school moves on from him, how do you evaluate whether the new infrastructure plan is working when a new coach will also need time to adjust to it? Is that eyeball test, Corey? I think like the only way he loses his job is if you see like a clearly talented, more superior talented team, and then they're losing games because they're ill prepared, right? Like the pre-snap penalties, more special teams gaps, which I think he'll clean some of that stuff up. But will there be a way to tell that you're evaluating better talent, yet he somehow isn't retained?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I'm not smart enough to understand. I'm not smart enough to know the answer to that, because again, it changes. It's also there's no way to know. There's just no way to know what even changes are going to be made, and how do you quantify them? How do you quantify whether this GM is really good and he was the reason they got all these talented guys, or was it just the money, or was it them wanting to play for Malzahn or play with Deuce or play for Norvell? Like, there's so many moving parts when it comes to this. It's going to be really hard to know after one season if the changes, whatever structural changes they made, have taken form and been good for the program, especially if you're firing your coach. It's hard to imagine that anything would be good about what you've done if you fire the coach. So that would tell you that you'd have to blow it up and start all over again. You can still restructure it, but whatever you did in this offseason coming up, if you feel the need to let Norvell go, or you think he's reached his ceiling, then I don't know what kind of foundational elements would be there for the next head coach. I feel like the next head coach would want to bring in his own pieces, his own people, his own personnel department, and go from there. So it's such a crazy world. It's such a crazy time with this sport. It's hard to predict what it's going to look like even 9 months from now. He needs to win. It would be awesome if he did it with a supremely talented team. He's certainly more talented than this year. And also, if this recruiting class, like this past one, I'm talking about the 2026 class, if it's got some dudes in it too, like if it's got an Arnaud and some Desirs and a Boggs and a Cromall, I think they really like Chavez Thompson. If it's got some dudes that they know are real players in this class too, so you've stacked up back-to-back pretty good recruiting classes, then that's something else to believe in. He needs some true freshmen to keep making plays. He needs younger guys to make plays.
Last part of that question, how do you keep each new phase from resetting the clock and leaving the program unable to judge whether the system itself is actually succeeding?
Yeah,
man, this is a lot more involved than I thought it was going to be.
Well, that's a lot of words, man.
It is a lot of
210 words.
Here, I'm going to ask you. Let me ask you this kind of, Corey. Do you think anybody would let's say 3 years from now, it's just not working? He wins 8 games, he wins 9 games, he wins 6 games. It's not working anymore. We're done. Do you think that apparatus that we assume they're going to have in place, right? Can we assume safely there's going to be a new GM? There is most likely going to be some delineation between people whose skill set is to evaluate high school talent versus those who evaluate and have relationships with current existing players that will be available to be in the portal. So that's another part of it.
And who do they report to? Who does the portal department even report to?
That GM. To that everybody responds to that GM. Yeah. The GM creates. He shops for the groceries, man. Like Mike, you don't get to shop for the groceries. You get to cook the dinner, but you don't get to shop for the groceries. Do you think
Jimbo? I hear you're calling, buddy. Yeah. I hear you. Hey, Jimbo, you got a job.
That's what I'm saying. Like, would anybody out there turn that down? Like, I don't know what Kirby's setup is, but I'm sure Kirby has obviously a strong apparatus around him. He's not everything there, but that's my point. So they go this direction, and who knows how the sport's going to look in 3, 5, 7 years. But you feel like with the way it's trending, that this is probably going to be the way forward. So if you create this whole system, this new infrastructure, do you think it's likely, unlikely, give a percentage maybe that your next coach after Mike Norvell would be like, you know what? Actually, I don't need all this, man. I can figure it all out on my own. I can save us this money and yada, yada, yada.
No, I don't think you'd hire him. I think this is the way of the future in this sport, as long as the it's set up this way with the NIL and the portal. You can't just have a head coach making all these decisions. Because you might get someone that doesn't quite know what they're doing, and then 2 and 10 happens. So no, you can't risk something like that. We're talking about 3 years down the road. If whatever this apparatus has brought in has been pretty good players, and you've had real talent, you've had an uptick in talent, you've had an uptick in draft picks, you've gotten unlucky maybe in a few games or unlucky with injuries, but overall you like the direction of the talent in the program, then no, the whole point of restructuring is to then stay away from everything going all in on a head coach. I just think those days might be over. I think Lane Kiffin might be the last one where he gets proposed to by 4 different schools. I just don't think this is something that's going to happen much anymore. Like if Kirby was on the open market, sure. But I think people are looking like, do we think the Texas Tech coach is unbelievable? He's good. But I feel like, I think the Texas Tech blueprint is kind of proven what all these other schools might need to do. Anyway, I think you're going to go hire a new head coach. If you like the apparatus you have in place, you're going to hire a new head coach. You're going to give them an NFL-type contract. You're not giving them a 10-year nonsensical $100 million buyout contract. You give them a 4-year, $21 million contract and say you get to be the coach at Florida State. And all you got to do is coach football and relate to some players. We're going to get you the players. And, that I just think that's how this sport needs to run here in the very near future, because it's the NFL. And it's the NFL light. It needs to operate that way and not put so much stock into going and getting the next great head coach.
Speaking of stock.
Oh, yeah, let's see it.
It closed at $485.62. It was up nearly 3%. If you look at they're up 30% in the last year.
Guys, obviously go to Cummins Lifestyle and get all the generators you want. Yeah. Go buy some stock too. I mean, we've been telling you this for a year. That thing is just on a rocket ship to the moon.
Let us know how we can enhance your business's impressions out there, everybody. Email me. All right, that's been Generating Discussion, sparked by Cummins. Again, give them a follow on Instagram. Noles behind the operation sea level, I think. Helping us out here on the program. We always appreciate doing the video breakout. And, follow them on Instagram. Cummins Lifestyle, all one word. Oh, Underdog Fantasy Sports, everybody. Football season, rivalry week in full swing, and feast week back on Underdog, Corey, from the 26th through November 30th. Check the app daily for special promos. It's easy, everybody. You just got to pick a player. Higher, lower, yards, carries, touchdowns, things of that nature. If you pick multiple people in one game, you just got to be able to pick a player from the opposition. Let's see if we can continue Corey's national prognostication. Gunnar Stockton, higher, lower, 247.5 passing yards at Georgia Tech. Friday game.
Lower.
Okay. Lower. How about America's younger brother, Arch Manning? Higher, lower, 247.5. Horns hosting Aggies. Friday game.
Lower.
Oh, look at Corey going. He's Mr. Lower all of a sudden, everybody. Mm-hmm. You want to do Jeff Sims?
Oh,
51.
Okay. That's an old name.
51.5 rushing yards, 183.5 passing yards. Tempe, the site of this one, as Arizona comes to take on the Fighting Dillinghams.
I would say higher on the rushing yards.
Okay.
How about my man Dilly winning games with Jeff Sims?
Unbelievable. And, dude, that soundbite you guys played on Coach Speak was incredible. Incredible. Him just, what a sales
the restaurants
pitch.
And having meals named after him.
What a sales pitch, dude. Incredible.
Yep.
All right, last one. All right, how about this one? ACC, Chandler Morris, Virginia hosting Virginia Tech Saturday, 7 p.m., 242.5 passing yards, higher or lower?
I'll go higher on him. I'll say higher on him.
Okay, there we go. That is a 10-1 payout over at Underdog Fantasy Sports. I'm going to go ahead and do it all in with Corey. You can do the flex, and you could get one wrong and still win. Odds go down to 6-1. That's still really freaking good. Shout out to Underdog. Download the app today. Sign with promo code WARCHANT to score $100 in, $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. It used to be $50. Now it's $100. That's promo code WARCHANT. Underdog, make picks, win money. Underdog Fantasy Sports must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. AI is coming for our jobs. Bots are actively making us fight each other on social media, and a pound of beef costs how much? Life has never been easy, but new stressors definitely complicate things. Oh, and there's you out there having to be a parent in this climate, or maybe you're going through a bad breakup. Maybe you have to manage an ailing, aging family member. You're making do, but might be a good idea to talk some stuff out. Yes, we've got friends, but it might not be the easiest on-ramp to unload all of our problems onto them. That's where Rula comes in. R-U-L-A. Look, if we pull a muscle at the gym, we'll go see a doctor most times. Access to therapy should be treated the same, but there's high copays and long waits. It doesn't make sense for many, but Rula makes therapy simple, affordable, and fast. The average session copay is $15. That's basically the cost of lunch, but instead of a sandwich, you are investing in your own headspace. Thousands of men have already found the care that they need. Don't keep putting it off. Go to Rula.com/wakeup to get started. That's RULA.com/wakeup. Take the first step, get connected. Let's control our mental health. We are back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, WarchantBogo, your promo code. Really long show. Let's do what we used to do, Corey, and kind of do like a sprint to the finish and get through a bunch of these. Osceola 123, which I think is the way they pronounce it in the actual Seminole tribe, maybe. Looking at the stats, Aslan, I know Corey won't be bothered to read this. He tagged you on it, but I don't get Corey's take about wanting to get Gus out of here. I can see being frustrated by the lack of scoring on offense on the road. However, overall offensive production vastly improved. The 2025 offense is 76.8% better
than the 24 offense and 19% better than the 2022 offense. This is in terms of yards per game, Corey. Likewise, the 2025 defense is 17% better than last year, 4% better than that ACC championship defense of 2023.
Say that second part again.
4% better than the ACC championship defense of 2023.
This defense is?
Yeah.
I wonder what metric, just total yards?
Yeah. Sorry, total. Yeah, it's both are just total yards. Yeah.
I don't know that I said I wanted Gus out of here. I think he will be out of here. I just don't get the impression. To me, I didn't get the impression that he was thinking at all about next season. And the one thing I will say when it comes to Gus is I think, and I think I've been pretty vocal in my support for what he's done with this offense, because last year was what the difference between last year and this year is unbelievable. But he's played 4 road games this year. His offense has scored 1 touchdown in each of the last 3 road games, all losses. So I don't know what that's about, but it's not great because that's what the last year's offense did. And it also hasn't gotten better as the season's gone on. It's gotten worse. It's got 1 receiver that he throws to. The quarterback isn't making great reads, and he's not on target or on time a lot. And the running back rotation has been all bizarre. But, man, yeah, as I said last year, 11 months ago, Gus Malzahn and Herb Hand raised the floor considerably. Now, will they be back? I don't think that's the end of the world if they come back. I would desperately want a better quarterback play than this downfield. Tommy is their leading rusher. That is not nothing. That means something. I think he's got 8 touchdowns rushing too. So he's been productive with his legs. He's been pretty good at times with his arm, but on the road, just not good enough. It's not good enough. And I think he's just too limited offensively. And what I wonder about Gus is his offense going to attract the kind of quarterback you want to attract to take this thing to another level? No. Because this offense is, the stats are great. A lot of that has come on, not a lot of it, but, East Texas A&M and Kent State, that's 140 points right there of your season. That's 70 points a game with those two. The other ones, not so much, but at home they've been fine. I think they've scored over 30 points in every game at home except the Miami game, which, that wasn't a great showing either. So I don't know. I don't think I would say if they announced that Gus Malzahn was coming back, I wouldn't be upset with that. I just don't expect it. But I would want some guarantees that they're going to figure out how to make more plays in the passing game, because to me, it's deuce or bust. And is Deuce going to be here next year? Because that's what I'm worried about. It reminds me a little bit of the 2024 season in hindsight, looking back at the 2023 season when it comes to the offensive line. Like, what did that offensive line look like without Jordan Travis in those games at the end of the year? That should have told us something. What did that offense look like without Deuce Robinson in the second half against Pitt? What would that offense look like, period, without Deuce Robinson? Is there going to be another one of those guys in the portal?
All right, you convince yourself. Get him out of here.
I'd be okay with it. The floor would be good. The floor would be high. I don't know if you can be a championship level team.
We have to. I'm just not. I can't do 2 years of, and then we're going to go to championship aspirations. It's got to be next year, man. It's got to be.
I would take a bigger swing, I think.
Okay.
Because more than anything, maybe Gus has a great relationship with a great quarterback that's in the portal right now. If that's the case, I hope he stays. I hope the quarterback comes. I am all about, as you are going to hear for the next 6 weeks, folks, so get ready for it. But don't tune us out. Get a quarterback. Get a quarterback. Whatever it takes, by hook or crook, you have to get a quarterback here. And if there's a quarterback that's awesome but says, I don't want to play in that offense. How many completions did Castellanos have against Alabama? 9? No thanks. I don't want to play in that offense. Then you get an offense in here that he wants to play in. Because that is going to be the key to going from mediocre to really good, in my opinion, is go get yourself a really good quarterback. Sorry, that was too much.
Yeah, let's keep this one a little tighter.
Yeah, no, speed round. That's me. That's on me.
North Alabama, Noles. Simple question that probably won't generate much discussion. Why is Tony Tokarz still on the staff? I ask you this, North Alabama, Noles. What could he have done? Do you think there's anything, and this sounds like I'm not being rude, just I'm curious. Is there anything he could have done fundamentally to shift and change Tommy that Gus would have been okay with? I feel like he's just managing whatever Gus wants. And I don't think he has the seniority or the ability to overrule Gus Malzahn on how he wants his quarterback to play. I think Tony's a likable guy. I think Mike wants to keep him on staff. Some guys are good vibes and just good people to be around, and he's a hard worker probably. I get it, though. I mean, he's not a guru. But yeah, I just don't know like what would have George Whitfield been if he was the quarterback coach for Tommy,
I think maybe the better question is, couldn't you have just saved whatever money you're spending on Tokarz and given it to a better player or two?
And not had the quarterback
not
coach?
Even have the position. Like,
yeah,
do you ever see Tommy talking to Tokarz during a game?
Fair.
And clearly the fundamentals aren't getting taught, because we all saw that pass in the first quarter against NC State where it looked like he threw it from between his legs, hopping up and down for no reason. I mean, the fundamentals aren't there, and he just doesn't see it well. And look, I don't even know how much Tokarz is involved. Again, we don't watch practice. I don't know how much Tokarz is even coaching the quarterbacks. I assume he's there. I assume he's giving them instructions. I assume he's in the meeting rooms with them, but I don't know that. And it's Gus's offense, and it's Gus's quarterback play. So, yeah, it's a fair question. Like, I don't know that he's making one way or the other, like good or bad. I don't think Tokarz makes a real impact on this offense. And if that's the case, then yeah, why even have the position?
Nole_dynasty. Wake up, gentlemen. Straight to the point with the question. With stability, LOL, they add, on the coaching front, what is the likelihood, using percentages, in your humble opinions, that the following players return in 2026? Okay. Tommy. I think Tommy has a 20% chance, says Nole_dynasty.
I go a little less than that.
Yeah, I'll go like 15.
Yeah.
Deuce, I don't know, 5%? Man, he's going to have over 1,000 yards, and he's 6'6", and he runs.
He already has over 1,000 yards. Man, I'll give that a 33% chance.
Ooh.
He is just a third-year guy. Not everybody is in a rush to go play in that league when you can, especially when you can get paid here and be a star. If there was no NIL, my percentage would be 0. But there is NIL, and if he gets back a grade of like third rounder, well, he can make that here and get all the passes thrown to him and be a star in Tallahassee, as opposed to making the same amount of money but being the 5th wide receiver for the Eagles.
Leave Deuce. Go, man. Go, Deuce.
No. Deuce, stay.
Way too
stay
risky.
Because you're going to be the reason a big-time quarterback comes.
Yeah.
So you need to stay, and they need to convince him to stay. I've tried. 90% Deuce is back. I've changed my mind. No, I'd say it's less than 50, but I don't think it's 0 that Deuce comes back.
Oh, nice.
Jared Verse came back.
This is true. Makai Danzy, I'd say 90% on that. 99%. I mean, they're not good. I don't think he wants to leave, and I don't think they'd let him leave. That's really high.
They'd force him to stay.
Well, not that, but just.
I would say. I mean, I would never go higher than like 80 on any of these guys, just because I don't know.
No.
I think they're all movable, or they're all
expendable.
Willing to leave if the right price comes. Not even expendable. I just think other teams might come and just make them an offer they can't refuse, and you might not want to compete with that, especially if you're bringing in a great quarterback. But I would say 80%. I feel, because again, the track matters too.
Yeah.
And they let him do both here, and they celebrate him doing both here, which is a big deal to him, I think.
Yeah. Usman Cromall.
Yeah.
55?
I'd say 51.
Okay. What do you think about Kevin? What do you think about Kevin Wynn and
the
Cam Davis? They're not on the list, but what do you think about Cam? I feel like Cam Davis, he's probably going to enter the portal. I don't know about Kevin Wynn is interesting to me. That he's, he played 3 snaps against Pittsburgh. He played 7 snaps against Stanford, but I guess in those games, it's one possession. You're so desperate to win that you think if he's out there for 4 or 5 plays, it's worth it because he can maybe help you get off the field and you can win those games. But yeah, I mean, he's played his 4 games. He's going to redshirt, it sounds like. So
I think he's played 3 games. I think he could play
this week. No,
he's
played 4. He played Miami, he played Pitt, he played Stanford, played Wake. So he can play in the bowl game. Yeah, he can play the bowl game. But
I thought Norvell said that he still had a game to play. Maybe he was talking about the bowl. I
yeah,
thought he said
was.
he had a game to play.
He was implying that they get to the bowl game.
I would think Cam Davis is like less than 10%. Yeah. Singleton will be back, you would think. Cromall, you hope, is back. There's other. You just got a commitment from a running back you really like.
Yeah, Amari Thomas, I think. From
I don't know. Jalen Lucas have eligibility. I can't remember who the other guys are. But it's a committee. So yeah, I Dan. Maybe Danzy goes back to running back. Who knows? But yeah, I would say 5% or so with Cam Davis.
Earl Little Jr.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. 49.
He's not an NFL prospect, right?
But what's
because of the size?
Yeah, but that's my thing though. Like he's not going to get any taller. He's not going to, So like you got through a whole year healthy. You are a little bit undersized. And I remember like it'll always stick with me the way that I was the one that got kind of assigned to speaking to Patrick Surtain during the luncheon, either before the fall camp or before spring, and he was talking about how good Earl looked, and he was like the way he said that the key is just going to be can he get through 14 weeks. Was like he realized that, he's small. He plays freaking recklessly. So I do wonder if, Earl, he's been hurt a lot of his career, but he made it through this entire season, intact and whole. I wonder if he feels like, all right, man, like I don't want to push it because I don't know. He'd be really productive again next year. I don't know how much better he would be in terms of becoming an NFL kind of prospect.
But I would say this again, the advantage you have is you can offer him more money than he might get from an NFL team.
Yeah.
Now, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, you could give him fourth-round money if he's going to be a fifth-round pick. Or if he gets back from the draft advisory committee, that he'd be a sixth-round pick or maybe – because, again, his size, he's a productive player, and he plays really hard. Wasn't in love with the way he played Friday night, but he's played very hard all year, and it's been a long season. And that dude sacrifices his body every Saturday, so good for him. So I'm not going to criticize him. But I think you could offer him enough money, if you want him to be like the bell cow of your defense, like that one of the leaders coming back. That's again, that comes back to who even makes that decision. Who makes the decision to offer Earl Little the kind of money you'd have to offer him to stay, or Deuce, or the Desir twins, because the price of business went up for the Desir twins, so you're gonna have to keep them happy, and you're gonna to get Earl Little to come back, you're gonna have to pay him probably like an NFL rookie minimum, or maybe not that, but you're gonna have a comma in it, right in the middle. So it's just a matter of if you're willing to do it. So again, I would say with Earl Little, I would say 60%. I do think they'd want him. I do think Tony White likes him. I'm assuming I'm going on the premise that Tony White will be here. I think he really likes to have Earl Little in the back, and they would do whatever they would try to keep him. That would be a great retention for them to get Earl Little to come back.
For this season, the rookie minimum salary is $840,000 American dollars.
I was going to say, let's not say that. I didn't mean that. You're not paying Earl Little that. I don't think. I wouldn't.
I know, but if he's a fifth-round pick, he's going to make significantly more. Not significantly, he's going to make more than that. I think he could be like a fifth-round pick.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they value as far as speed. I mean, I know again the size will be a detriment, but he does hit you. Yeah. He plays physical. He's made some plays. He can play the ball pretty well. I don't know.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between him and Jamie Robinson?
Which Jamie Robinson from
not
15 years ago?
Not from Rock Hill, South Carolina, but the one that transferred in from South Carolina. Jamie?
Oh, yeah. I was like, Jamie Robinson from 2009, my number 20. Yeah.
He's 5'11".
I think Jamie was I think he was a little bigger. He felt a little bigger to me.
A little thicker. He was listed.
Was
listed as 5'11", 203. He was a second round pick.
What's Earl Little listed at?
Earl Little is listed at 6'1", 199, which means he's probably like 194 or something.
Yeah. I thought Jamie was like a fifth round pick.
Was he?
And I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. Sadly,
should look that up.
But yeah, he was a really good player. Forgotten of the Norvell tenure. One of his really good players. That'd have been nice if they got him back in 2020. Well, it wouldn't have mattered.
Says he plays for the Falcons, and he was a fifth-round pick, 145th overall.
There you go.
So, I think
plays for the Falcons. All right.
That's what it says. On Wikipedia, though. On November 12th, he signed with their P Squad.
Okay. So, still making money, baby.
Yeah, I feel like.
There you go, Jamie. Still getting paid.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jamie's a little bit more of a attractive prospect than Earl, but I think like fifth-round pick, so
That'll be interesting. And then, yeah, the Desir twins, last one on this list. Last one of this magnum opus, War and Peace, Tolstoy show. Sorry, that's 2 shows in a row we've gone really long, everybody. But
I would say
we got a lot of really good questions we didn't get to, by the way, Corey. Like a lot of really good ones.
We could ask another one. But I would say 85% on those guys. Again, I think
they said it.
Especially if this defensive coaching staff returns intact, which we think it will, at least the defensive coordinator and the defensive line coach, they are going to make them a priority. That is an absolute priority. Like, that's as big a priority, I would think, as quarterback on the other side. Like, the Desir twins are the future here, man. They're just going to get bigger and better and faster and stronger, and they're already good. So you need to build upon them. And so I would think that they will do, other than some outlandish number, which I don't think other schools are going to come pay, I would think you'd keep them.
Any other notable players, Aslan? I don't know why he's asking me specifically. What do you think about James Williams? Because you said this defensive staff staying intact with the coordinator and the defensive line coach, which is Terrence Knight, and then James Williams is his guy. I would imagine he has to be one of the guys in line for a pay cut if he were to try to return next year.
I mean, I think he played 17 snaps in that game on Friday night. Some other games he's played like 11. Like, no, he's not. I don't know if it was a multi-year contract he signed, but yeah, he's welcome back. But he's got to get bigger, and he's got to get more physical. He's got to be better against the run. He's got to be able to play more than on one down. Yeah. He's the same guy he was in Nebraska without the production. He's a third down guy. He was supposed to be more than that when he got here. And they recognized it early enough that they took him off the field. I feel like he played a good bit against Virginia and not all that well. Yeah. And that was the last time he played a ton. And he made some productive plays against NC State.
He did. He celebrated. He let us know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had half a sack. He had some pressures. He was fine in that role. But man, you're not going to pay a lot of money for a third down specialist. So he's either got to get it bigger and better, or they can cut ties with him. I wouldn't think he'd be. I don't think he's going to be a huge priority, is what I should say. But he's welcome back. I mean, there's a chance he could still be productive next year. Does he have eligibility, right?
Let's see what PFF says. He's draft eligible in 2027.
Oh, all right. Then yes, he does.
Well, but he played at Nebraska in 2023 and 2024, so he's
definitely
played 3
old
years.
enough to go to the draft. I just didn't know if he was a junior or a senior. I think he's just a junior.
Yeah. So he actually graded out at 79.5 against Virginia. Was his highest grade against a Power 4 opponent. Believe it or not.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I forgot, and he dominated that night.
No, he got pushed around in the first half. Like when Virginia went on that big run and jumped out to those leads, he was kind of getting pushed around.
Yeah, I felt like they were running right at him the whole game.
Yeah, but
that
four
shows
pressures.
What PFF's.
All right, yeah, we got a lot of good ones, but we'll spread it out so that we have some more content for the rest of the
give us one more so we're not just talking about percentages of players coming.
Why? That was a good one. That was a good fun.
That was all right, but I didn't want to end on that one.
Well, you know what? I do. We're over an hour and a half after an hour 20-minute show yesterday, so we can say sayonara at this point. Subscribe to warchant.com. Check out Seminole headlines. Jeff Cameron doesn't know what's coming his way. Ira and Corey gonna manhandle him. He's like, come on, relax. It's gonna be all right, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's again, it's funny with that though, is like Ira and I don't disagree. It's just that like
you go about it differently.
I don't know.
You go about expressing your
but also like I am not typically. I know I can be when it comes to the sport, like the Braves maybe, but even the Braves, It's funny with Jeff though. I was thinking about this, and I'm going to bring it up to him on headlines. He has no hope for Florida State next year, and he thinks that like Florida State's going to have a hard time getting any people to be interested in the program as long as this guy's the coach. And people's apathy, there's going to be apathy. They're not going to care. They've tuned out. This dude is a Pirates fan. There is nobody that should have tuned out on a team for 30 years like he has. The Pirates don't care about their fans at all. At all. And he still gets the MLB packages and watches them on a Tuesday night, sipping his brews, watching the Pirates lose 4-1 to the Mets. He's been doing that since I've known him. So there is a part of fandom which is like, even if you're disappointed in who's coaching, you're disappointed in the decisions that are made, you still care and you're still going to watch. And I know Jeff Cameron's going to still watch Florida State because, by God, he watches the Pittsburgh Pirates. And if you can do that, you can watch anything.
Seminole Headlines 1 to 3, 93.3 FM, as well as Warchant TV. That's our YouTube channel. I think we're going to get Deuce later this morning, so we'll speak to him. Maybe another player, maybe an assistant. I'm not exactly all that sure. But
are you going to ask Deuce if he's coming back?
Why can't you? Yeah, I'll ask him.
I'll ask him. What do you think he's going to say? I'm going to say.
I haven't even thought.
I'm not going to say. Somebody's going to ask it. I'm going to hopefully get the first question, because somebody's going to say, "Have you given any thought to whether you'll be back next year?" And he'll be. I know the answer is like, I'm putting that to the side. I'm just thinking about Florida. Sure.
Right.
I'm just going to ask, hey, man, are you going to be back here next year? That's how I'm going to phrase it. Are you going to be back here next year? Yeah. Like, yes or no, man. Yes or no. This fan base needs some good news. They already found out somebody they don't want coming back is coming back. How about somebody they do want coming back to come back? Come on, Deuce. Give this fan base some good news.
All right, now we're really done. VitaminEnergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. He's Aslan. I'm Aslan. He's not Aslan. He is not. I'm Aslan. He's Corey. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy.